This is the Edexcel Foundation Tier Paper 1 from June 2022, and it is a non-calculator paper. Question 1 says change 40 centimeters into millimeters. Each 1 centimeter is made up of 10 millimeters. So 10 millimeters make 1 centimeter. If we've got 40 centimeters, we've got 40 times 10, which is 400 millimeters. Question 2, simplify E plus E plus E plus E. So we've got 4 E's added together. That's the same as 4E, 4 times E. So if we had 4 5's added together, that will be the same as 4 times 5. It's exactly the same thing. So 4 E's added together, it's the same as 4 times E. It's not E to the power of 4, which means E times E times E times E. So it's not that. Question 3. On the grid, reflect the shaded triangle in the mirror line. So we want a reflection of this triangle in the mirror line, so it'll be over this side. So these two corners are going to stay in the same place. They're already on the mirror line. And this corner, this vertex, is 1, 2, 3 away from the mirror line. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 away on the other side. And we can just join up these corners, join up these vertices, and that will be our new triangle. Question 4. Write down the value of the 6 in the number 16,007. So the 6 is in the thousands column. It is worth 6,000. Question 5. Write down these numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. So we've got fractions, decimals, and percentages, and we can always convert between them. So we can make them all fractions, all decimals, or all percentages. The easiest is probably to make them percentages. So 1/2 is the same as 50%. 0.55, to change a decimal to a percentage, we times by 100. That's 55%. And we've got 45%. So now they're all percentages. We can write from smallest to largest. So 45% is smallest. Then 50%, which is 1/2. And then 0.55, which is 55%. Question 6. The pictogram gives information about the number of hours of sunshine on a Saturday and on a Sunday. And the key says each sunshine symbol is 2 hours. So each sunshine is 2 hours. Work out the number of hours of sunshine on Saturday. We've got 4 suns. Each are worth 2 hours. So 4 times 2 is 8 hours. Simon buys some candles. Each candle costs £2. He pays with a £20 note and gets £6 in change. Work out the number of candles Simon buys. So £20 note and £6 in change. So 20 take away the 6 gives us £14. So he paid £14 for the candles. They cost £14 and each one costs £2. So how many £2 candles can I buy for £14? What's half of 14? It is 7. So you can buy 7 candles for £2 each, which makes £14, and then you'd get £6 change from a £20 note. So 7 candles. Question 8. The bar chart shows information about the total rainfall in each month in a city. So we've got January, February, March and April drawn for us. And we're told May is 35 centimetres and June's 20. And we're going to complete the bar chart. So 35 centimetres in May. So 35 in May. And how many in June? 20 in June. And that is our bar chart. Rupert says in February there was 15.5 centimetres of rainfall because the bar is half a square above 15. So we're looking here. So it is half a square above 15, but each square is worth, well, 5. So it's not 0.5 above 15. It's half of 5, which is 2.5. So it's halfway between 15 and 20, which is actually 17.5. So explain why Rupa is incorrect. Each box is 5 centimeters. So the chart, the bar goes up to 17.5 centimeters. Question 9. Here is a sequence of patterns made from grey square tiles. So each time, each pattern adds an extra tile to the right and an extra one on the bottom. So we need to draw pattern 5. So it's going to be, well, 5 along the top and 5 down. So let's draw that pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll just complete these. So that's what pattern 5 looks like. And then part B says complete the table. So pattern number 1 has got 1 square, 2 has got 3, because we're adding 2 new ones every time. So pattern 5 has got 2 more than pattern 4, and pattern 6 has got 2 more than pattern 5. It goes up by 2 squares every time. 1 extra one on the right, 1 extra one on the bottom. Question 10. In Norway last year, the lowest temperature was minus 15 degrees C. In Norway last year, the highest temperature was 42, greater than the lowest. What was the highest temperature? So it's 42 more than negative 15. Negative 15 plus 42. So 42 more than negative 15. So we need 15 to get to 0. And then how many more do we need? We could just, let's flip these around. So let's say this is the same as 42 take away 15. 42 take away 15. So I'm going to take one of the 10s and give it to the 1s. 12 take away 5 is 7. 3 take away 1 is 2. So that's 27 degrees. 27 degrees is 42 degrees more than negative 15. Question 11. At the end of October, Fiona's electricity meter reads 88,738 kilowatt hours. At the end of November, her electricity meter reads 89,198 kilowatt hours. Each kilowatt hour costs 16p. Work out how much Fiona has to pay for the electricity she used in November. So she has to pay for the difference between these two. She has to pay by how much it's gone up by in November. So let's work out the difference between these two numbers. So we'll take them away. So the big one, or the November one, take away the October one. So 8 take away 8 is 0. Then the tens, 9 take away 3 is 6. I don't want to do 1 take away 7, so I'll take one of the thousands and give it to the hundreds. 11 take away 7 is 4. Then 8 take away 8 is 0. 8 take away 8 is 0. So it's 460 units. So 460 kilowatt hours. Each one is 16p. So we need to do 460 times 16. So 460 times 16. It doesn't matter what method you use for this multiplication, as long as you get the right answer. So I'm going to do 6 times 460 first. 6 zeros are 0. 6 sixes are 36. And 6 fours are 24. Add on the 3. That will make 27. Then I'm going to do 10 times 460. So I'm going to add a 0 and then times by 1. 1 0 is 0. 1 6 is 6. 1 4 is 4. So what do I have? In the ones I've got 0. In the tens I've got 6. In the hundreds I've got 13. And then the thousands, 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that's 7,360 pence, or I can change that to pounds by dividing by 100. 73 pounds 60. Question 12. Work out 5/12 plus 1/6. To add fractions, we want to make the denominators the same. And the quickest way, the easiest way of doing that, would be to times top and bottom of 1/6 by 2. That will make both denominators 12. So that's 5/12 plus 2/12. So I've got 5 of something plus 2 of something, which can be 7 of that same something. 5/12 and 2/12 make 7/12. Part B, work out 3/10 times 5/8. Give your answer as a fraction in its simplest form. We've got two options here. We can simplify before we times, or simplify after we times. So if I simplify after to times fractions, I just times the top times the bottom. So 3/5 are 15. 10/8 are 80, which is 15/80. It's not in its simplest form. They're both in the 5 times table. 15 is 3/5, and 80 will be 16/5. So that's 3/16. I could have also simplified first. So 3/10 times 5/8. I can see on top I've got a 5, and on the bottom I've got a 10, and they're both in the 5 times table. So if I divide the top by 5 and divide the bottom by 5, and then times the top times the bottom, 3 times 1 is 3, 2 8s are 16. Question 13. There are 15 sweets in a jar. 4 of the sweets are red. Jill takes her sweets at random from the jar. Write down the probability that we get a red sweet. So 4 are red out of 15 in total. So the probability is 4 out of 15, 4/15. there are only green counters and blue counters in a bag. A counter is taken at random. The probability that it's green is 0.3. Find the probability that it is blue, that the counter is blue. So there's only blue and green, so they have to add up to one whole. So to find the probability of blue, I can do 1 minus the probability of green. 1 minus 0.3 is 0.7. Question 14. Y equals 6x minus 5. Work out the value of y when x is equal to 4. So I'm going to substitute 4 in for x. And 6x means 6 times x. So I've got 6 times 4, take away 5. 6 4s are 24. So I've got 24 take away 5. And 24 take away 5 will be 19. Question 15. Work out an estimate for the value of 92 times 1.63. You must show all your working. So it's an estimate. We're not working out the exact answer to this. So we're going to round the numbers. The easiest one to do is probably to round them to one significant figure. So 92, we can change to 90. And 1.63, to the nearest whole number, is 2. So do 90 times 2. 90 times 1.5 would also be a good option. But 90 times 2 is 180. So we'll have that as our answer. And given that 2.96 times 3.2 equals 9.472, find the value of 29.6 times 32. So it's the same calculation, but we've times by 10 once, twice on the left side. So we've changed 2.96 to 29.6. That's timesing by 10. We've changed 3.2 to 32. That's timesing by 10. So if we times by 10 twice on the left side, we need to times by 10 twice on the right side to keep both sides balanced. So times by 10 twice will be 947.2. Question 16. Savio leaves his home at 7:30 to drive to work. He drives a distance of 50 miles. He thinks he drives at an average speed of 40 miles per hour. What time, if he's correct, what time will he arrive at work? So speed is equal to distance divided by time. If we want to work out time, we need t by itself, so times by t. So speed times time is distance, and divide by speed. So time is distance divided by speed. So the distance is 50. The speed is 40. So 50 divided by 40 is the same as 5 quarters, 5 over 4, which is 1 1/4. 4 quarters is a whole. So that's 1 1/4. So 1 hour and 1/4 of an hour. So 1 hour and 15 minutes. A quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. So it takes him 1 hour 15 minutes. So an hour and 15 minutes after 7:30. So add an hour is 8:30. Add 15 minutes, 8:45. In fact, Savio's average speed was greater than 40 miles per hour. He was faster. How does this affect your answer? So if he drives faster, he will get there sooner. So he'll get there before 8:45. He will arrive before 8:45. He will be quicker. He'll get there sooner. Question 17. 72 people did a test. We're going to complete a frequency tree. We've got a frequency tree here. So everyone is 72. 20 of the 32 adults, so there are 32 adults, 20 of them passed. So 20 passed. We can work out how many failed by doing 32 take away 20, which is 12. 6 children failed the test. So failed the test 6 children. We can see how many children there are will be the total take away 32. 72 take away 32 is 40. So 40 children took the test, 6 failed. 40 take away 6 is 34. 34 children passed the test. And one of these people is picked at random. Find the probability that this person is an adult who failed. How many adults failed? 12. So 12 out of the total, which is 72. Question 18. Here is a list of ingredients for making 10 scones. And we've got the ingredients for 10 scones. Mia wants to make 25 scones. How much sugar does she need? So if we half the recipe, we can find out how much we need for 5 scones. And I think we only care about the sugar, so let's only work out the sugar. Half of 40 grams is 20 grams. So we need 25 scones. So we can either say we've got 2 10s and a 5, that makes 25, or the 5 scones times by 5, 5 times 5 is 25. So 20 grams for each 5 scones. We want 25. So 5 times as much, 100 grams. Question 19. Increase 240 by 20%. So I'm going to start with 10%. So I'm going to find 10% of 240. And to find 10%, I'm going to divide by 10. So 240 divided by 10 is 24. So that's 10%. 20% is double 10%. So 2 times 24, which is 48. And I'm increasing by 20%, which means I'm adding on 48. So I've got 240, I'm adding on 48. So that gets me to 288. Question 20. The diagram shows 3 identical rectangles, A, B, and C. 5/8 of rectangle A is shaded. So this is 5/8. The unshaded part must be 3/8 because they have to add up to 1 whole. 9/11 of C is shaded, which means unshaded must be 2/11. Work out the fraction of B that is shaded. So this is 3/8 and this is 2/11. So it's going to be 1 whole, take away these 2 bits. So I'm going to work out the unshaded part by adding them together. So it's 3/8 and 2/11. To add them together, I'm going to make the denominators the same. And to do that, I'm going to times the top and bottom of 3/8 by 11, and the top and bottom of 2/11 by 8. So both denominators are going to be 88. So 3/11s are 33, 8/11s are 88, 2/8s are 16, 11/8s are 88. So now we can add them together. I've got 33 88s plus 16 88s. 33 and 16 make 49. So 49 88s is unshaded. So the shaded must be whatever's left. So 88 88s. I could say it's 88 88s. A whole, take away 49 88s. And what do I have to add on to 49 to get to 88? 30 will get me to 79. And then another 9. So that's 39. 39 88s. Question 21. Here are the ages in years of 15 people. Show this information in a stem and leaf diagram. So in a stem and leaf diagram, we separate out, in this case, the 10s and the 1s. So in the stems, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're the 10s. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the 1s, we're going to have the 1s for each one of them. So I'm going to start with the lowest 1s, and there are no zeros in the 1s, no 1, no 2, but there's a 33. So 33, 3 in the 10s, 3 in the 1s. I can't see any 4s, so we've got 25. We've got 25 again. We've got 45. And that's all the 5s. So on to the 6s, we've got 26. No more 6s. There's lots of 7s. We've got 27. 27 again. 37. 27. 37. 17. And 47. Then the 8s, we've just got 28. And the 9s, we've got 19 and 29. So they're all crossed off. There should be 15 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then we'll just fill in the key. So 1, line 7 is 17. And we'll write the units. They are, well, years. 17 years. Question 22. The centimeter grid shows the plan and the front elevation of a cylinder. And we need to work out the volume of the cylinder, giving our answer in terms of pi, because it's a non-calculator paper. So the volume of a cylinder is the area of the circle, which is pi r squared, times how far back it goes, the height. So pi r squared h, pi r squared times the height. So we can see from the circle, it's got a radius of 3. And it's got a height, we can see from the front elevation, of 5. So r is 3 and h is 5. So it's pi times 3 squared times 5. 3 squared is 9. So it's pi times 9 times 5. 9 fives are 45. So it's 45 times pi, which is just 45 pi. Its volume, it's centimeters cubed. So 45 pi centimeters cubed. Question 23. Solve 7x minus 27 is less than 8. So we want to get x by itself. So let's get rid of the minus 27, the take away 27. And we do the opposite of taking away, which is adding. So I'm going to add 27 to both sides, which leaves me with 7x on the left side. We've got rid of the 27. And I've got 8 plus 27, which is 35 on the right side. Now I want x by itself. At the moment it's multiplied by 7. So I'm going to do the opposite of multiplying by 7, which is dividing by 7. So divide both sides by 7. That gets rid of the 7 from the left side. On the right, I've got 35 divided by 7, which is 5. So x is less than 5. Question 24. Write 124 as a product of its prime factors. So I'm going to start with 124 and I'm going to break it down. So I can break it down to 2 times 62. 2 is prime, 62 isn't. 62 can be broken down again, and again it's in the 2 times table, and it's 2 times 31. 31 is a prime number. It's not in any times tables apart from the 1 times table and the 31 times table. So it's prime. So it's 2 times 2 times 31. 2 times 2 times 31 makes 124. It's written as a product, so times together, of its prime factors. Question 25. A delivery company has a total of 160 cars and vans. The number of cars to the number of vans is 3 to 7. So that's 10 parts in total, 3 and 7. 10 parts. We could also draw that as boxes. So 3 boxes. And we'll have 7 boxes. So 3 boxes for cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes for vans. So we've got 10 boxes in total. We need to share 160 between them. They all need the same number in. So 160 divided by 10 is 16. So each of the 10 boxes is worth 16. So this is cars to vans. So how many cars are there? There are 3 16s. 3 16s. So 3 10s are 30. 3 6s are 18. 30 and 18 make 48. So that means there are 48 cars. And the rest are vans. So 160 in total. Take away 48 is 112. 48 cars, 112 vans. Each car and van uses electricity or diesel or petrol. 1/8 of the cars are electric, use electricity. So to find 1/8, I can divide by 8. So 48 divided by 8 is 6. So they are electric cars. 6 electric cars. 25% of the cars, that's a quarter, use diesel. So again, 48 cars, a quarter are diesel. So 48 divided by 4 is 12. So 12 diesel cars. Work out the number of cars that use petrol. That's the rest of them. So we've got 6 and 12 make 18. That's electric and diesel. There are 48 in total. 48 take away 18 is 30. So the rest of them is 30, and that must be the number of petrol cars. Question 26. Write 1.63 times 10 to the power of negative 3 as an ordinary number. So we've got 1.63 divided by 10 3 times. So 10 to the power of negative 3 is the same as 1 over 10 cubed, which is 1 over 1,000. So it's the same as doing 1.63 divided by 1,000, divided by 10 3 times. So it's 0.00163. It's 1.63 divided by 10 1, 2, 3 times. Part B, write 438,000 in standard form. So standard form has got to be a number between 1 and 10. So it's going to have to be 4.38 and then times 10 to a power. So how many times do we times 4.38 by 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So 438,000 is the same as 4.38 times 10, 5 times. Part C, work out 4 times 10 to the power of 3 times 6 times 10 to the power of negative 5. Give your answer in standard form. So here we can times the numbers, the 4 and the 6. 4 times 6 is 24. And then times the indices. When we multiply by indices, we add the powers. So we've got 10 cubed times 10 to the power of negative 5. We're going to add the powers. So 3 add 3 plus negative 5 is the same as 3 take away 5. So it's times 10 to the power of negative 2. 24 times 10 to the power of negative 2. But the question says give your answer in standard form, and this is not in standard form. We need a number between 1 and 10. So I can't have 24, I need 2.4. So I can change 24 into 2.4 times 10, and then that's times 10 to the power of negative 2. So 10 to the power of 1. And then we can multiply the indices again. So we've got 1 plus negative 2. That's the same as 1 take away 2, which is minus 1. So 2.4 times 10 to the power of minus 1. Question 27. Here is a regular hexagon and a regular pentagon. Work out the size of angle X. So the angle in between the regular hexagon and the regular pentagon. So all the exterior angles add up to 360. So the exterior angles are the angles on a straight line with the interior angles. This angle here is an exterior angle. So 360 for the hexagon divided by 6. It's got 6 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 360 divided by 6 is 60 degrees. So each exterior angle for our hexagon is 60 degrees. We could also work out the interior angle if we wanted to by doing 180 take away 60 degrees. 180 degrees take away 60 degrees, which is 120 degrees, because they're on a straight line. Angles in a straight line add up to 180. We can do the same with the pentagon. So this time we've got 5 sides. So 360 divided by 5. So dividing by 10 is 36. Double that, 72. So each exterior angle is 72. So each exterior angle is 72 degrees. The interior angle will be 180 minus 72, which is 108 degrees. So we've got 2 ways of working this out. We could do angles around the point, because we've got 120, 108, and our x. So they all need to add up to 360. Or we could split the angle x into 2 angles, and they will be the exterior angle of a hexagon, so that's 60, and the exterior angle of a pentagon, which is 72. So x is 60 and 72, which is 132 degrees. Question 28. Complete the table of values for y equals x squared minus 3x plus 1. So I'm going to start with the positive numbers. So the y is the x number squared. So when x is 4, it's 4 squared minus 3 times 4 plus 1. So when x is 4, what is y? 4 squared is 16. Take away 3 4s, so 16 take away 12 is 4, plus 1 is 5. When x is 3, we've got 3 squared, take away 3 3s, which is also 3 squared, so 9, take away 9 is nothing, plus 1 is 1. And, well, it's a quadratic graph, so we should get the symmetrical pattern. So if these two are both 1, we should get both of these as -1 and both of these as 5, a symmetrical pattern. But let's check. So let's do our our 2 calculation. So 2 squared, take away 3 2s plus 1. 2 squared is 4, take away 3 2s, which is 6. 4 take away 6 is -2, plus 1 is -1. And then this one should be 5. We'll just check. So -1 squared is 1. Take away 3 times -1. This gets a bit complicated with the negative numbers. A negative times a negative is a positive. So we're going to have 1 plus 3 plus 1, which is 5. So on the grid, draw the graph. So -1 5, 0 1, 1 -1, 2 -1, 3 1, and 4 5. So we're going to join them up with a curved line. So we've joined them up with a curved line, and our graph looks something like that. Using your graph, find estimates for the solutions of the equation x squared minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. So look, that's the same equation, but instead of y equals, it says equals 0. So these are the roots of the equation, where it crosses the x-axis, where y is equal to 0. So what is x at these 2 points? And it looks like we've got either 0.3 or 0.4. Let's call it 0.3 from our graph. So 0.3 and 2.5. There'll be a range of acceptable answers for these, where your graph crosses the x-axis. Question 29. Here are 2 cubes, A and B. Cube A has a mass of 81 grams. Cube B has a mass of 128 grams. Work out, it's the ratio, the density of A to the density of B. So we're using density equals mass divided by volume. So we've been given the mass for A and B. We haven't got the volume, but we can work it out. So the volume of a cube is length times width times depth. So 3 cubed and 4 cubed. So for A, the volume is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So 27 centimeters cubed. And for B, the volume is 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So we can work out the density of each of them. So it's the mass, so for A, 81 divided by the volume, which is 27. 81 over 27. How many times does 27 go into 81? That's 3 times. And for B, the density is the mass, which is 128, divided by the volume, which is 64. How many times does 64 go into 128? 2 times. So what's the ratio? Density of A to density of B, 3 to 2. And question 30. Write down the value of sine 30. Sine 30 is 1/2. So you have to know the exact values of sine, cos and tan for 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90 degrees. There's a few ways of remembering them. There is one with a big square root sign, all over 2, sine on the top, cos on the bottom, and it's 0, 30, 45, 60, 90 degrees. And sine starts at 0, goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cos goes the other way around, so 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And if we wanted to know sine 30, it's where sine meets 30. So it's a big square root sign. So sine 30 is square root 1 over 2. So sine 30 is square root 1 over 2. The square root of 1 is 1. So that's 1/2. There's another way with a equilateral triangle, which I can show you. It might be a little bit more complicated. So we have an equilateral triangle. That's supposed to be an equilateral triangle of each side is 2 units. So we've got 2 on each side. Each angle is 60 degrees because it's an equilateral triangle. And then we cut the triangle in half, which gives us, because this angle is cut in half, it's now 30 degrees. This one's 60 degrees, and this one's a right angle. And then we've got 1 on each side. The 2's been cut in half. So if we want sine 30, sine with the angle is SO. It's the opposite over the hypotenuse. So this is our angle. The opposite is 1. The hypotenuse is 2. So sine 30 is 1/2. If we wanted to work out cos 30, we would need to work out the length of this adjacent, which we'd use Pythagoras for. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to leave it as sine 30 equals 1/2.